Welcome back to Stocks Around Us with Me Pizza. Right now, I am on a secret mission to catch a criminal on the run. And we have to do it very quickly before he escapes on a ship because these storage containers move very quickly. This is one of the busiest ports in the world because it is placed at the crossroads of major trade lanes along the Straits of Malacca and Port Klang in Malaysia. If we're too slow, the criminal can escape on one of these ships and travel anywhere in the world. So we have to study this port very carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Westport's Holdings. Westport's Holdings is the holding company of the leading port in Southeast Asia and one of the world's most productive ports. Its principal business is in port development and management. So basically, it manages everything that goes in and out of ports, whether it's a container, dry, or liquid bulk cargo. Container operations is the core activity of Westports. These are operations that have to do with storage containers, loading and unloading, stacking and organizing, and managing the logistics. Of course, being a port, you have to have terminals for ships and vessels to dock. Westports provides many terminals, namely break bulk, dry bulk, and liquid bulk, and others. The company also ensures that their customers efficiently and safely transport their vessels within Port Klang waterways and Port Klang pilotage district with their marine facilities. For example, they have over 30 experienced pilots to handle vessels of any sizes, tugboats to rein-in ships, and pilot boats. In addition, Westports also offers value-added services such as bulk storage, in which they have over 360,000 square feet of warehouse to store bulk cargoes. They also have on-dock depot facilities, which is managing the storage space of empty boxes within the terminal. Other facilities include a reefer, which is a refrigerated container for sensitive cargoes, bunkering services to fuel ships, even a port police force to maintain security. Moreover, the company offers more storage services at the Westport's District Park, which is easily accessible by extensive networks of expressways connecting to industrial areas and other container freight stations within the free commercial zone. With such high levels of productivity, Westports has won more than 40 awards over the last 17 years. Guys, the length of this port is incredibly long. Just the container terminal is 4.6 kilometers long. It's impossible to explore this port entirely. So why don't we take a break from this Mission Impossible and go meet our special guest to talk to him. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Westports, Ruben Emir Ganalingam. Hi, Mr. Ruben.
Hi, how are you doing?
Thank you for having us at your port.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming.
So first of all, could you give us your outlook on the shipping industry in general? How is it doing?
I think the overall shipping industry, it's tough as always. There's a lot of overcapacity of vessels, unfortunately, and therefore freight rates could be higher. But I think this year is going to be generally a decent year for shipping lines in general. Overall, the volumes of cargo being moved is continuously growing from year to year. I think there's only been 1 year in the last 40 years which was 2009, where cargo didn't grow. So I think this year is going to be a good year for growth in terms of cargo volumes.
How much does cargo volumes grow every year?
I think worldwide, probably about 4 to 5%. Last year was probably about 4, and the year before that was 3. But this is from a worldwide perspective. For Southeast Asia, is a bit faster than that. Last year, our growth was specifically was 12% over here, and this year we're expecting somewhere between 5 to 10% in terms of volume growth as well.
Do you foresee more shipping activity now that the AEC is intact?
I think it will start to grow from this. I think that is a very good step, but it's not going to have an immediate impact.
Right.
But I think because of that, we're going to start to see some growth coming from this area as well. Trade between ASEAN countries, unfortunately, isn't as high as it should be. Comparatively to other regions which trade within themselves are quite high. I think ours is only 24%. So I think there's a lot more room for it to grow, which is actually an opportunity. So I think there's going to be a lot more development for trade between ASEAN countries specifically.
So, Mr. Rubin, is Westport the owner of the port, or are you operating under some concession deal with the government?
Basically, we have a concession from the government for about 60 years. We started in 1994, and it runs until 2054.
Oh, so you're under concession?
Yes, we're under concession.
Right.
The owner of the land is actually the Port Authority, which is Port Klang Authority, and they lease out the land to us, and we have a concession from the government, federal government, to actually run the port for another 40 years, another 39 years from now.
So all ports in Malaysia are like this?
Pretty much. All the major ports in Malaysia are like that. There are some smaller facilities which are privately owned, but more the major ports are designed in that way.
Right. So if you're comparing yourself to all the ports in Malaysia, where do you rank?
It depends what you're trying to rank us on. In terms of container volumes, Port Klang is the largest port in Malaysia. We are part of Port Klang. As a single terminal, we're number 2 in Malaysia with regards to container volumes. I believe we handled, last year we handled 8.4 million TEUs. From an overall tonnage perspective, we're the largest port in Malaysia. If you just compare total tonnage, including conventional cargo and container cargo, then we're the largest port in Malaysia.
So what is the percentage of the entire shipment that goes through the country that comes to your port?
I think it's about 35% or 33 to 35% of Malaysian cargo goes through our ports.
Right. Yeah. So could you name your main services and their revenue contribution to the business?
The main service is actually taking the boxes on and off the ships, basically.
So the cargo, the
containers, yes.
Turkey, right.
So when we take the containers put them on a ship and take it off the ship, that's the main revenue generator for us. I think it represents about 83% of our total revenue from the container side, and then the bulk side represents another 10%.
Right.
And then we have marine charges and also rental and etc. So these are the 4 main categories of our revenue.
So how do you charge for these services? Is it by volume or by day or what?
Per box. Well, per size of box especially, yes. When we move a 20-foot box, we charge a fee. When we move a 40-foot box, we charge a fee. And when we move the ton, when it comes to bulk cargo, it's by tons. So we charge per ton. So.
And you do storage as well for them?
We do storage as well. That's another revenue source. But it's also, some companies prefer to store it in the port for a little while. And especially for transshipment, you have to store it waiting for another ship to come.
So for these services and your charging prices, are you bound by any government regulations regarding the price you charge?
Oh yes, for almost everything we do, there's actually a government set tariff, which is set by the Port Authority itself. So the Port Authority for Port Klang governs the tariff for ourselves over here. So whatever they set is actually the limit of what we can charge.
I see. So what is the key success factor of your port and any port really?
I think the first important thing you have to get right is the location. If you're not in the right location, it doesn't matter. So how good your port is will not matter at all because the ships won't come. So I think location is very, very crucial in that sense. But apart from location, I think if once you've built a port, once you've decided that you want to have it in that particular location, I think the key is actually servicing your customers well. I think like any other business, we are very much customer focused. We want to understand what our customers' needs are and try and help them the best we can. Turning the ships around fast is, I think, one of the most important things for any shipping line. So what we try to maximize is getting them in early and getting them out early as well. Just like how people say planes are designed to fly, ships are designed to sail. So the longer they spend at ports is actually very ineffective for them. They're supposed to sail as long as they can. So we try to get them in and out as fast as possible.
Right, so good location and good productivity.
I think yes, these are the two most important things. So
Right.
in order to get the productivity, on the other hand, we have to we work very hard to make sure we have a good culture here, so that employees want to perform and make sure that they do well for the company as well.
So you talk about location now. Your port is in a very good location. Do you have room to expand your port, or how are you planning to expand Westports?
We're currently not fully built yet. We still have got. We've now finished CT7, Container Terminal 7, late last year, and we have now started build CT8. From 7 to 8, we're going to jump from 11 million TEU capacity to 13.5 million TEU capacity. After that, we still have got CT9, which will then take us up to 16 million TEU capacity. So in total, we still have got some room for expanding here. I think, with regards to the next, this is probably going to take maybe next 5 to 6 years to expand fully here. Beyond that, of course, we will start. We will probably start in the next few years looking at our other locations, probably around ASEAN, hopefully. So where we could, share our expertise and invest in certain locations there.
Right. Well, thank you so much for today,
Thank you.
Mr. Ruben.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you. Thank you.
Financial highlights. At the end of 2013, Westport's revenue was over 1.7 billion ringgits, or 17 billion baht, growing by 72% in 4 years. Its net profit was around 435 million ringgits, or 4.3 billion baht, a growth of 53%. Its net profit margin was about 25% and ROE around 28%. Its PE was at 18 and PBV at 5.4. And at the end of 2014, Westport's share price was around 3.4 ringgits, or 34 baht. Its market cap was over 11 billion ringgits, or 110 billion baht. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Westport's Holdings. Join us again next time for more company highlights with me, Pizza. He's getting away. I gotta go.